you said that I can earn money and not have a tenant. Explain that to me.
So typically, your average Airbnb person that teaches you Airbnb, it's a great business, right? So they teaching you how to arbitrage. They're teaching you how to sublease your lease with a landlord, which is great. So the number one key is you want to make sure that you put your Airbnb into an LLC. That's first and foremost.
So if I have a rental property company,
correct,
I need to separate the Airbnb business from the rental business.
Correct.
Understood.
Correct. So now once you get your LLC, once you get your Airbnb and you place it into your LLC, remember the first part of the octagon, I teach you how to talk to the bank. So when you go to the bank and you get that business funding, let's hypothetically say that the Airbnb that you have is $1,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Well, now I just taught you how to go to the bank and speak to the bank for your business, and you're going to get a business credit card. Let's say the business credit card is $15,000 on the business side, right? Mm-hmm. So the business doesn't show on your personal. So what does that mean? So that means that now I have an Airbnb unit. It's costing me $1,000 a month. Times 12 is $12,000 a year. So I'm going to go to that landlord, or I'm going to go to that condominium office, and I'm going to say, listen, I'm willing to pay my rent for 1 year up front. Do you have any perks and benefits that you can offer somebody like myself? Maybe give me 1 month off, or maybe give me an extra month. So I may pay 11 months, or I might get a 13th month because I'm paying everything up front. So now I swipe my card for $12,000. The average bank only charges you a minimum of 1% a month on the payback of your credit card. Okay. So now I have $15,000 on my credit card. I just used $12,000 to pay for my Airbnb for the year, right? So now that cost me 1%, $120. My rent is $1,000. 120 minus 1,000 is $880. So now I just cash flowed $880 per month without even having a tenant. Now, the smart move is to split that in half. I'm going to put $440 back onto the credit card, and I'm going to put $440 in my pocket. For a long time, we've always looked at zero as being a negative number because zero has no value to some. But in reality, if you really, use your millionaire mentality to a billionaire mindset, you'll understand that zero takes you to anywhere else that you need to go. You need zero to have 100. You need zero to have 1,000. You need zero to have 1,000,000. You need zero to have 1,000,000,000,000, right? So zero is the most powerful number on the number chart.
You mentioned commingling. What is commingling?
So basically, a lot of people, when they start businesses in the beginning, because we don't have the education of what do we do with our finances, we automatically use our 9 to 5. We automatically use our personal savings, 401k, pensions, anything that we have, and we place that into our business as startup funding, which is what we've always been traditionally, groomed to do. Mm-hmm. So if you have a personal bank account and you're pulling money out of your personal bank account to put into your business or put into your business, paying your bills or trying to grow your business, if something happens or if you get sued or if your LLC get attacked and somebody pierce your corporate veil, they're coming after your personal stuff because a good attorney can see that you're cross-mingling your money. You're taking your personal saving funds and you're utilizing it to grow your business. So now you don't have an LLC anymore. Now the business is actually you.
Got you. So to make sure that I understand what you're saying, you're saying that if I use Eric Armstrong's checking account for a Sandcastle transaction, if Sandcastle gets sued, they could actually come after me because I use Eric Armstrong's check to pay for a Sandcastle bill.
Correct. So what a good attorney is going to prove is that, yes, you have Sandcastles, however, but Sandcastle is being ran by Eric Armstrong and the money was coming out of Eric Armstrong's account. So now we have access to both accounts because you cross-mingled your account. When you're setting up your LLC, you want to make sure that you set it up properly, right? So some people, when you set the LLC up, you use your home address. You never want to do that because now you're linking who you are to your business. So you always want to remember, right? You want to own nothing but control everything, right? And when you do set it up, get a business account. Don't set up an LLC and attach it to your personal account. Get a business account and only fund money from your LLC, from your business account to the LLC to the business. Never cross mingle anything. So keep everything separate. And if you can, even have 2 different entities of banks. Like if you use, business banking A, then you want to use your personal account CD somewhere else. So it's not even in the same branch. It's not even in the same financial institution. So they can't cross you up.
Got you. So I'm going to try to track this to make it make sense. So I would, if I started Sandcastle Investment Group, I'm going to say, I'm gonna have that checking account for there. Then I got Eric Armstrong's checking account. But if I have an expense, but I have no money in my business account, I need to withdraw it from Eric, deposit it into Sandcastle Investment Group, and then use the Sandcastle
Correct. Correct.
account to be able to purchase to avoid commingling.
Correct. And another thing too is that, so this is the reason why it's so important to understand how to talk to the bank, because when you're starting your business and you talk to the bank, you may get a business credit card for $5,000. You may get a business credit card for $3,000, whatever the dollar amount is. Utilize that card to fund your business. Stop using your debit cards, right? Because the debit card is not doing anything except for making you vulnerable to the public, right? So, and we teach this to our mentees, is that when you're doing your business, if you have a debit card and you slip up, right? So you might be driving to go see a client, but you want to get gas. So you use your debit card, right, to do this, but then you're writing it off on your taxes that this was a business, transaction of me driving to go see this client. Well, you just cross-mingled yourself without even knowing it, right? So you don't just put the debit card up, because most business accounts won't give you a debit card. They're going to give you a business card. Always recommend to shoot with the smaller guys first, right? Big banks don't really need your business, right? So when we teach you how to talk to that bank, they don't really need your business because they're getting business. You want to go to the smaller bank because they're competing with the bigger banks. So you're going to get the most funding from a smaller bank. Get the small guys out the way first, and then go talk to the big banks. We're born with two things. We're born with a lot of things, but two of the special things that we're born with is a date of birth and a social security number. With those two things, they can never change, right? Unless somebody knows somebody that can get it done. If they give me a call later so we can figure that out, but they don't never change. So what does change is your EIN number, right? So your EIN number is your identity of your business. The date of birth and social is your identity. Your EIN is the identity of your business. So the date of birth is the day that you start the business. The social security number for your business is your EIN number. Now, the beauty of that is you can give birth to a business every 24 hours.
So you telling me I can start cash flow every 24 hours?
Every 24 hours.
You said you can start an LLC every 24 hours.
Every 24 hours. Well, so let me back up. You can start an LLC every hour, every minute, every second of the day, but you get an EIN number every 24 hours.
All right, boom. So I can get an EIN every 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
Which in essence, with the plays that you're giving me, I could rinse and repeat this process and continue to build more cash flows, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So can you give me an example of how I would maximize doing that?
Maximize the LLC?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one thing we all talk about, right? Everybody chasing the bag, right? We all chasing the bag. But my theory is, what I teach people is, why you chasing something you're never going to catch? Right? You chasing something that you're never going to catch. They print money every day. So you chasing something that you're never going to catch. So what people have to understand is that stop chasing the bag and understand that you are the bag. All you got to do is fill it up, right? So when you take that mental concept and look at your LLC. So if I create an LLC today, right? I make my LLC, I got it rolling, I got it going. My LLC, I'm going to probably wait 7 days. I'm going to go talk to the bank because I'm going to learn how to speak to the bank. I'm going to open up that bank account with the LLC. Once I build that relationship with the bank, I'm going to apply for funding. If the bank gives me $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever the dollar amount is, I now know that who I came into the bank with that LLC in my profile, I can get that dollar amount. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to create either another service LLC from out of that, or any other LLC. I like to stick with the services because it is equivalent to the business that you're already running, so you're not confusing yourself, right? So then I go back, I create another LLC within 24 hours. I'm going to go back to that same bank because now, guess what? I'm the same guy, the same owner, the same CEO, but now I have a different LLC name. But I have the same profile that's behind me. So if I got 15, 20,000 off the first LLC, what do you think I'm going to get off the second LLC? Right? You're going to get almost the same dollar amount increment or higher because now I have a relationship with the bank. So if I can get 10, 15 off of one, next 7 days, I'm going to get another 10, 15. Next 7 days, I'm going to get another 10, 15. Right? And then so on and so on. And once I tap out of one bank, I take that same LLC and I'm going to go to another bank and do the same process. So one thing that people have to understand is that stop just going to anybody to get your LLC. Because I get a lot of mentees that come to me, hey, I got my LLC already. But when I ask for their documentation, they don't have the operational agreement. They don't even have the file or have access to go back and to redo something on their LLC. They can't even amend them. And I'm like, who did your LLC? Oh, such and such did it, last year. I said, okay, well, do you have your sign in? I don't have that. You got your operational agreement? I don't have that. So you basically pay somebody to do your LLC and you have no documentations for it. So when you come to us, we're going to walk you through the process the proper way and give you the operational agreement, right? Make sure you set up properly in your state, in your city, so you can operate professionally and teach you how to do it for somebody else.
Okay. So, all right, let's say a real estate investor messed up and started an LLC, like I got St. Castle Investment Group.
Right.
And I have rental properties under that. Yep. And then I did a business, Airbnb, and I put it under St. Castle. I put St. Castle as the owner because I thought that they could work together.
Right.
And you say, I don't want to do that. Can you undo somebody's mess up? Can they start over? Can they, if they didn't do it properly, can they come back to you to get it fixed?
So can you fix it? Yes.
Okay.
Do we offer that service to fix them? A lot of times we don't.
Okay.
And the reason why is because whoever did your LLC, if we can get into your account, then we can show you how to amend it.
Understood.
But a lot of times we can't get into your account because you don't even have your password. Right?
I understand.
And the reason why is because you paid somebody to do your LLC and you never got the email address that's attached to it. You never got your password that's attached to it. So when we go search for it, now we have to manually do snail mail to try to get your information.
Gotcha.
Right? So this is the reason why, get it done right the first time.
Why would I go with your company versus LegalZoom?
So the thing here is, right? So with LegalZoom, you're paying LegalZoom to do a service. What are you getting out of that service? You're just getting the LLC. So LegalZoom charges anything between $500 to $800 for a service, which is great if that's the service that you want. But did you cash flow? Right? You paid for a service, you got your LLC, but do you know what to do with it now? You're sitting on an LLC. Now you're going to go back to try to figure it out. In my program, we're teaching you how to do an LLC. And after you finish getting your LLC, within the next 24 hours, you're going to be doing LLCs. So now you're going to be producing money. You're going to be producing a cash flow from a technique and talent and skill set that we taught you how to do. LegalZoom is not doing that. LegalZoom is going to take you $800, give you your LLC and be on their way. But now you're still stuck. Right? You're still stuck in the same position that you was because now you don't have the knowledge to how do you talk to the bank. They're not teaching you how to do that. LegalZoom is not going to give you the documentation that they taught you how they did your LLC to teach you how to do it. Right? So if you really was crafty, when you go to LegalZoom, I would start an LLC called How to Build LLCs and have LegalZoom build it. And then I go back and then I'm going to redo LLCs for people. LegalZoom is not giving you affiliate codes. Right? Are they paying you because you're sending people there? Think about it like this, right? In the state of Pennsylvania, to build an LLC, it costs $125. LegalZoom is costing you anywhere between $500 to $800. So when I teach you this skill and this craft, you're going to be able to charge $425 to anybody that wants you to build their LLC. You're cutting LegalZoom price almost in half. But that's not even the best price. The best price and the best part is that if you do 10 people a month, I just gave you $3,000.
Get your money back.
What the LegalZoom give you. So one thing that I definitely want to put out there with people is that a lot of times we talk about funding, right? We talk about leveraging businesses, leveraging OPM. I want people to know that is the new wave, right? The way of doing things before, the way of doing things depending on your 9 to 5 to get you to the finish line, those days are over, right? So we hold on to a security blanket of our job, but you have to ask yourself this: how much is your job paying you to forget your goals and your dreams? How much is that job paying you to stay stuck on that hamster wheel? So you have to understand and know for yourself that you got to get out of that. You have to get off of that rat race of just going to work every day, right? So I don't know anybody's situation out there, but if you ask yourself this one question, what's the difference between prison and work? Right? If you ask yourself, what's the difference between prison and work? The only difference is that somebody go home on parole at the end of 8 hours. Everything else is all institutionalized, right? Everybody hugging the same cubicle together. Some of y'all taking the same breaks at the same time. You waking up almost the same time to go to work every day, right? You driving in traffic almost the same time. So you're programmed to do a particular thing to service a company. And if you in corporate America, you're servicing a company that's helping them get rich. What about your last name? Right? The company that you go to every day, 99% of the time, you're representing their last name. But what about your last name? Right? So you can't continue to work for somebody else and not investing into yourself. And I know we get afraid. I know it's scary, guys, but you can literally put your annual salary inside of your bank account with OPM. You can cut that security blanket. After the security blanket, you can take that parachute off because you can't fly when you got the parachute blocking your wings. Right? So you got to get out of that scared zone and apply yourself and get to the next level. Right? People talk about debt. You don't want to go in debt. You don't want to go in debt. In my program, and this is one of the things that Octagon Business Strategy that we didn't talk about, is that when you're getting into debt, I teach you how to get whole life insurance. So your life insurance policy covers your debt. So let's just say I have $2 million in properties. I got $2 million in debt. Well, if you got this whole life insurance, that's $4 million policy, and your policy is written out to your LLCs. If your policy is written out to your businesses, you're still setting your family up with cash flow. What do you think your family is going to do with $100,000 in the bank? Right? You got kids, you got children, you got all this money in the bank, but now you're gone. You can't teach them how to leverage. You can't teach them how to cash flow. Right? If you got a handsome son, if you got a beautiful daughter, their significant other's going to take $15,000, $20,000 out of that 100,000. The family member going to take another 30, 40 out of it. Right? They're going to want to live. Right? They're going to want to survive within 6 months to a year. Maybe even 15 months. That $100,000 is going to be gone. But what I'm teaching you is cash flow. What I'm teaching you is to take that $100,000, put it inside of a cash flow producing asset. So when you're gone, right, because everybody got to go, right? When you're gone, my son, my children are not only going to have money coming in as a cash flow, they can make as many mistakes as they want. I've made the mistakes for them in my blueprint to make sure that they get the cash flow. If I set them up to have financial money in the bank and they make a mistake, the money's gone. How many times can they make the same mistake for $100,000? With the cash flow, they can make the mistake every 30 days. So that's one of the things that people have to understand. Get with the cash flow. Cash is trash. Credit is second to trash. Cash flow is king. So I just want to let everybody understand that. Let me show you how to print money on demand.